no, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. We love finding new products, fun products, unique products that we can bring into the market that other people aren't doing and aren't interested in. They're into the same old boring stuff. We're not. We want to find new things. What's creative? What's the latest? Bring it in and make sure it gets into the homes of our beloved clients. So that is one of the lines that we have found and we've brought in that we're really excited about. And then on top of that, we're really excited because we were like, hey, would Matt want to come and tell us how awesome his line is? And Matt's like, I ain't got nothing to do. So he's like, sure. And here we are, right?
Yeah, that's all that happens.
So, anyhow, so Matt and I are going to just have a quick little dialogue. If you guys have any thoughts, questions, whatnot, at the end, if you guys want to ask some things, we would love to hear it. So think about it while you got it going on. And then obviously, yeah, I mean, well, I don't know.
You're up. Throw shop your game.
And then afterwards, feel free to come chat with him, chat with me. I'm a local celebrity. I don't know. Okay, so Matt, why don't you first just start and introduce yourself? And I mean, I'm going to assume, everybody obviously is a big fan. And, you're a huge celeb, like huge celeb. So I just want to make sure you tell us what you're doing, what's going on, how the heck you exist, and how the heck you were found in of all places. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Can we get the big purple elephant out of the room and just talk about how well he knew Prince? Because Matt is from Minneapolis, and it was a big devastation for me. He was one of my many 80s icons. I've had 5, 3 are dead now. I've only got 2 left. I know.
That's not good.
So anyhow, so talk to us about your connection to Prince first, and then go into the other things.
We'll start there. Yeah, should we all bow our heads? Dearly beloved. Yeah. No, that was rough. In Minneapolis, now I grew up in Wisconsin and migrated. So I ended up in Minneapolis 16, 17 years ago. And yeah, we kind of owned him. Yeah, you guys had him too, but he was ours. And Minnesota's kind of like that flyover territory. So that's all, without Prince, that's all we were. So when that all happened, that was very, very sad, and it's going to continue to be. We threw a good party though. If you guys saw, we blocked off the whole street. We danced all night. That's how would, yeah. I mean, put him on the $20 bill, but he's $19.99. So yeah, not to start a downer, sorry, but Prince is pretty awesome, and he was around. Like my first thing with Prince was I ran into him at a bar called Bunkers in Minnetonka. He just walked in, and I'm like, "Hi, you're Prince." He's like, "Good to meet you, brother." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Prince talked to me." So, and he was just like, the story I keep hearing over and over again from even, I mean, the people who are reporting this is, yeah, he was famous, but he was one of those guys that all the famous people said like, "Oh my God, I get to be Prince." So that was kind of a cool thing. We didn't really use Minneapolis, so we're grounded people. That's our Midwestern roots, although you wouldn't tell by looking at him. And he was this big-ish, somewhere in here. He wore heels. But getting back to this, now let's talk plumbing. Smooth segue. It's familiar with bath pressures? Anyone? Raise your hand. Okay, I won't get into it too deeply. Applause line. Thanks. I never sought this out. This wasn't my dream. I was a farm kid from Wisconsin who was very, very shy and hated public speaking, was never in the high school play, would rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. It was brutal. So this was nothing that I got my degree in interior design, went to University of Wisconsin-Madison, I'm a Badger, and moved to Minneapolis, and just did that, because that's what I was going to do. I was going to be a designer. I rearranged furniture in my parents' house when I was a kid. Try explaining to your farmer father, by the way, that you're going to go into interior design. That didn't go over well. About as well as my earring did back in the day. Was minding my own business, working in commercial firms, residential firms, and one day my phone rang and someone asked me if I ever wanted to do anything on TV. Saw a picture on our work website. That was it. I told them no, because of the aforementioned reasons. And she was really persuasive. And I went and visited. I said, "I'll meet with you." They filmed that and said, "We're just going to send this off." We sent 16 other videos like this off yesterday. We'll edit this together that you're 1 of 17. You got no shot at this. On like Wednesday. So on Friday, I got a phone call. Like, remember what I said about don't worry about it? do you want your own TV show? And I said, let me think about it. And then my wife said, you have to do this. You have to do this. No one's going to ask you to do this again. So there was a show called Bathtastic, which is absolutely horrendous title, but okay show, but don't watch the first season because I certainly can't. And then I figured out kind of how to get comfortable with it. And then it became fun, because what's cooler than doing design where you can reach more than just that one person? Now it's kind of, I've got this thing, I've got a platform. And whether for good or better or worse, you're gonna listen. And it was weird because I never thought of myself as a bathroom guy. I was doing casinos, I was doing restaurants, and yes, they all have bathrooms, but certainly wasn't gonna get pigeonholed to this degree. But there was an opportunity to do something. Bathroom design was doing something, but it wasn't much. You know, there was an opportunity to push it. And that's where, when we really started to dive into it and say, hey, why not an espresso machine? Fireplaces make sense. All these amenities that seem very luxurious and are, but you know, let's think about how we use this space. Let's make them bigger. Let's fill it full of cool stuff. Let's give you a reason to go there and hang out. It's not a utility shed where you go to get the job done and get out. Hang, give yourself a reason. Fire up that tub, dim the lights, turn on some music, lock the door. Undercover fridge has got wine in it. Suddenly your crappy day isn't so bad anymore. You can lock that door, forget you have kids, and all that other stuff. And it's your oasis, it's your getaway, it's your sanctuary, it's your retreat. And I think when we started approaching it that way, we got to change the game a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we started introducing, I mean, heated floors are awesome, even here. You're naked, wet, and cold in this room, a lot. Why not address it? And make it a little bit easier.
So
Sure.
here's my only issue. That was good. No, when I think of HGTV, it is this like double-edged sword for, I think, especially some of us in here, where like what's awesome about it is it's really elevated so many people thinking about creatively and thinking about creating beautiful bathrooms and doing interesting things. But they also think that it takes 30 minutes to do that. So can you talk to me about how it doesn't take 30 minutes and what the reality of your show is?
Okay. Ready? It doesn't take 30 minutes. And if you think it takes 30 minutes, then that's your fault. But here's the thing, if you have a client that thinks it takes 30 minutes, bad client. So they're just not, come on, that's not smart. So just ditch that client. But you're right, I do know that we have, through editing, created maybe an umbrella of unrealistic expectations for you and your clients now. Fine. But my response as a designer is, I'm also an educator. Be real with your clients. Even if you're setting expectations that aren't in line with what they're seeing on TV, that's your job, I think, and that was how I approached it too. We're doing this in 3 days. It is possible. I don't recommend it, but it is possible. Now, to that point, do you want to do that? No. And should you set that expectation level? No. I mean, some people think it happens in 22 minutes. Those are the lost souls. So write them off immediately. But I think, it's the old mantra of plan your work your plan. And that works during construction, but it also works in the planning process too. I think if you've set an agenda and you set expectations and you're realistic about it, my clients would appreciate that way more than over-promising and under-delivering.
So it is 3 days, but how much is the pre-planning?
Pre-planning is huge. Now, realize it takes a village to do this, and behind-the-scenes stuff is amazing. And I think the only show on that network that has kept my same crew together from day one. So we are a group of producers and camera guys and audio guys, and we're all a team. And yes, once the design is finalized, someone needs to procure this stuff, and it needs to show up. We average, probably from the time, if you watch the show, we go to Lowe's, we find somebody, we follow you home, we talk to you. And
so you really do like assault them.
Oh hell yeah. There's no candy coating, no one's set up. If you're there that day, you're in the running. So when that process takes 2 or 3 weeks. Now, everyone in this room can understand a full, let's say $40,000, $50,000 bathroom renovation. We meet them, with 2 or 3 weeks we design it and procure all this stuff. Now meanwhile, we're doing 2 other episodes at the same time, that way. So everything's leapfrogging. We shoot 13 episodes in a season that usually takes about 16 to 17 weeks. So we've got to dip and dive. Now, yes, it takes a coordinated individual. And these people that were working were TV people before, didn't know anything about construction. So now my coordinating producer now knows which valve body goes behind the wall of every faucet that every manufacturer makes. It's not here, where is it? You know it needed to be the F3604. You know, they know this stuff. And I think just the longevity of doing 156 episodes over the last 13 seasons of that show, anything you do 156 times, you're gonna get a hell of a lot better at it. And they have. So the learning curve and the teamwork and everything that goes into that, there's a synergy that goes all toward that final goal of making a good TV show. But we still have we're still Midwestern folk. And we don't want you leaving empty-handed. We don't just want smiles at the end and once the camera's cut, I don't care about you.
Well, that's my question. Do you have
some
folks that are like...
I will check the blogs. I'm going to say I've got a 99.9% satisfaction rate. We're not going to, and that's the thing. There's a lot. If someone wants to ruin us, they could. They could expose us easily. And from the standpoint of do we pull inspections, are we getting permits, all that kind of stuff? Yeah, we got to. We got to play by the same rules. We got to warranty the work, all that stuff. So you just hire the right people that are really good at the job, and you trust that that's going to be done, and you trust your plan. And it's hard. This is the hardest room in the house to renovate. It really is. There's nothing in that room that's easy, and there's no skilled labor that goes unused. There's tile guys, the plumbers, the electricians, everyone's involved in this room, and all that water's still got to go downhill, and it's got to happen now. And you know, there's just, I mean, we built a really good team of amazing people, and we've learned a lot. We're not going to do the same bathroom twice. No one's getting the number 7 with a smile. That's not it. We've done 156 episodes of the show, and hopefully more. And to keep doing something new takes a lot of effort. Now you know, people kind of come to us and introduce us to stuff, so we know what's out there. And that was the great segue into the opportunity to do a line of product. In knowing what's out there, we also know what isn't. Because when we're looking for it, we can't find it. And that was a chance to fill in some of those gaps. Now, admittedly, from the whole line, there's 7 pieces in the whole line, 4 of them are here. They skew more contemporary, a little bit more modern. I'll admit it. That's me. That's a little bit of personal element of me in there. But hand in hand with the fact that we can't find that out there. That's their chance to do something a little bit different. If you want a brown vanity with a espresso vanity with a white top, go get one. I know where you get one. It's everywhere. You can spend $3.99. But if you want something that's quartz, or you want something that's a little bit more of that statement piece, that's what we were looking for. And when you use modern, sure, but I always preach, like, if you want this space to feel a little bit like that getaway, that spa, that sanctuary, the retreat, it maybe doesn't need to look like the rest of your house. Here's your chance for a little departure, aesthetically. And when people give me the adjectives that they want that bathroom to feel like, they'll say things like clean lines and crisp. They use these words which really do align themselves hand in hand with a little bit more of a contemporary vibe. And I think that's okay. I think that's a way of steering someone in that direction. The knobs in your bathroom don't have to match the kitchen. This isn't part of the open floor concept. It's not living room, dining room, kitchen, bathroom. You're behind a door and behind another door. It's an opportunity to do something different. Right? So go for it and push them that way, because I think the crisper and cleaner that you can, lines that you can implement in that space, the more that's going to feel like a place where you want to go to get clean. And that's kind of the philosophy with it. And then the other philosophy is do something a little bit unique. Like this piece. This is the only piece in the whole line that's got a drop of stain on it. It's oak, and we grayed it out because I'm sick of beige. So gray is my new neutral. If you're doing travertine and beige, you need to just go. And even in the Midwest where I'm from, and I have to fight this fight. But all the rest of the pieces from right here, that's Sucapira. This is Waterfall Ebony. There's Purple Macassar and Cocobolo and all these different awesome veneers that and some teak, solid woods, that we can introduce into that. That's the showcase piece. You want that thing to sing when you first walk in the room, and that's your piece of furniture. And it's an opportunity to do something that just you can have some pride in.
So how did the Decolav thing come about?
Fortuitous. We used Decolav on one of our episodes, and Rob Mayer, the president of Decolav, one of my producers called. We needed I think it was something from their acrylic line, and they called to inquire on how we were to get it, and Rob answered the phone. because Rob answers the phone sometimes. And much to the chagrin of maybe a salesperson. But Rob answered the phone and he started asking questions. And one thing led to another. I think we got into touch on like a Facebook instant message. And he's like, I would like to talk to you just about what you do. And we met, we happened to be in Nashville for something. I was there for a show, he was there for I don't know what it was, that design show, the hospitality design show that happens in Nashville, HI Connect. And we sat down to steak dinner and talked. And he's like, would you ever want to release a line of product? And I hadn't really, as a farm kid from Wisconsin, thought anyone would care if I had a line of product. But he kind of just opened up free reign. And it could have been, it could have been one of those things where like, here's 10 vanities, pick out 6 that you like, we'll slap your name on them. He didn't, these are sketched. I should have brought my sketchbook and packed it. That is identical to my sketch in sketchbook. We went from sketchbook to shop drawings to selecting materials to construction. Done. And it's verbatim. And we worked through all these tricky things like this mirror, which is my favorite piece in the whole collection. We just took the oak veneer and etched it through the silver on the back of the mirror, and then just edge lit it with LED light. Now you got ring lights, so you got even light in your face, and that mirror doesn't have to go with vanity. That mirror's all day long anyway. And it's little things like that. That's just one step further in the manufacturing of the piece. So it's been fun. Product design's weird. Designing a one-off bathroom for someone, you guys are designers in the crowd. Like you can talk to a client, understand what they want, turn their nonsense into real things. Because if they could do it themselves, they would. But you're helping them. You're a shepherd, right? So that's a one-off. Doing a line of product is different. And that was the learning curve for me on this. So something that's cohesive as a line, but it's also hitting a niche, that's hitting sizes that people want, it's all that kind of stuff. And coming to different parts of the country, like here, and finding out what works, what's selling, what's doing well, what fits here, what's the Phoenix Scottsdale aesthetic. I don't know. You do. So that's kind of getting that feedback just lends itself to how this whole thing evolves. If there's niches that aren't being hit, that's the whole point. Let's hit them. And if there's trends that are seeming to get some teeth, let's get ahead of it. And that's what a company like Decolav can do there, because this happened from sketch to a living model was 9 months. So to edit that thing down from a 60-inch to a 42 just is a phone call. There's things like that can happen. So that's been kind of the grace of working with a company the size of Decolav. Back. I could be long-winded.
No, hey, rock on. I think it's fantastic. No, I mean, you actually kind of covered some of the things that that I want to know about. It's so interesting in terms of what you're talking about with design and that bathroom being that separate space. We have so many people that for the longest time, and I think it's dying a little bit, or a lot, we're looking for a Tuscan home here in the great state of the desert of Arizona, which is very odd, but when we talk so much about, okay, in Italian homes is chrome, contemporary, because there's so much old, there's so much, going on around them and through their village and through their city and through their place, and you want to go into a place that's more simple, that's more clean, that's more contemporary, versus all of the other things that you're saying. So where else do you see, that's what I find it interesting that you have so much contemporary pieces, because you are in Minnesota, and it's similar to Arizona. We're not judging as Arizona people, who sometimes, our trends, I think some of your stuff is kind of very, pre-trend, in terms of some of the colors, some of, particularly, over there, that piece over there, with the glass top, so that's kind of my question. Where do you see it? And is it, doing well in Minneapolis, or is it only because you're, you and, Prince, anything you guys do is a hit there?
Well, good question. I struggle with even just the word trend. I get it, and I know that you want to be at the forefront of something, but I think good design is good design. And even if we're doing, yes, my personal style is a little bit more contemporary, but anytime we do the show, I pride myself on pulling off a more traditional space that I can walk away from and be proud of, even though completely not my style. And I'm sure you all feel the same way. Sometimes that's a bigger high, right? So I think as far as what's working and where, yeah, some of these things are a little bit ahead, but I mean, I'm hoping that that curve, that 3-year gap or whatever we are, starts to lessen with the access that we have to information and just the inspiration that we see from all over the world in media. But where I see it going from here, I think, is streamlining things. I think that I'd like to see, you know, Rob has this vision for bathroom in a box, like here it all is unfolded as little bit animals. I see that, but I also see a little bit more of an accessible rate. What I'd love to see is this stuff, like what you're doing, and having it on the floor. I know, I've been in your shoes as designers where it's hard to bring a client to a place and convince them that in that place, something that's in a catalog and not on the floor is what's for them. Because this kind of stuff you need to kind of touch, feel, see. Photos are tricky. So I think the effort right now is to kind of get this stuff out for where people can see it and touch it and go, oh yeah, because that makes your job easier, and it certainly makes it, you know, easier for us. So, and then I think the next step is now to take a step back and listen a little bit. This was shot in the dark. This was based on what I've known from, now granted, every time I go to the store, you see me and Lois, I'm talking to everybody. We're there 3-4 hours, I'll talk to 30, 40 people. And we need all that footage, but at the same time, I'm kind of conducting a survey. An ongoing 156 episode, God, I don't know how many people I must have talked to survey. Much less all the home and garden shows that you guys got going on this weekend, where 300-400 people will sit in the crowd. And I'll go, how many of you take a bath once a week? And like 8 hands go up. You know, I'm learning things like this. So I think the next step is to respond to this, get it out there, but also listen to you guys. It's important for me to kind of come to stuff like this and move around the country. Minneapolis is, let's just not say that hotbed of what's going on. We're not going to get there first. But coming here, you guys have an aesthetic that's going to differ from when I was in Telluride, which is going to differ from anything on the East Coast. And meeting, you guys know where gaps are too. You guys have frustrations that you can't find. There's value in that, as far as I'm concerned. And there's solutions there, and that's the whole thing. If there's a problem, let's fix it. Let's not try to put a square peg in a round hole anymore and leaving people 90% satisfied. Let's figure it out. And I think that's kind of where things are headed. That flexibility, the ability to have what you want. And maybe even if that's a one-off, make that accessible. And give, I mean, there's a pride in home ownership. This isn't a flipping the house culture anymore. People are approaching every renovation that I'm hearing about a little bit differently than they were 7 years ago. You're making decisions based on, you know, if you can't quite get to the bathroom you want, you might wait a year. You're not going to put the 99-cent a square foot tile in there if you want what you want. This is now maybe more of a forever house than until I get sick of the house. So that level of renovation is stepping up, it's tearing up. And I think we need to kind of rise up, the rising tide lifts all boats. Let's raise that level of expectation for people so that they're getting what they want. A renovation, there should be a pride that you feel at the end of it. You should be, that's where the home tour should start. That's how I approach every episode of the show. I want you guys to take this room that you're embarrassed in, and I want you to start the home tour here. And maybe that's where it trickles down now. Now from that bathroom, I love this, or I learned how to tile, now I'm doing this in the kitchen. That's kind of the inspirational piece of it too, which is the other thing. Yeah?
You're back from your people after they leave for a while.
I do. Some of them have become friends, and some of it's just information I can't get out of my head. I remember weird things. I'll know names and kids' names of homeowners that I've done. But yeah, and some of them are, the only thing that's ever really been like a fail, and I'll totally own this. We were in Sacramento, and this was season 2. We just finished season 12. Did anyone see the little window of time where there was a full body dryer on the market? Picture the hand dryer, but like 6 of them. Like lined up vertically, you hop out of the shower, and you dry off. No.
They tried to sell it to me. I was like,
It's a terrible idea. So you're just standing there, just pretty much cold, naked, and then like nothing. So that was the one time that I remember feedback going, yeah, we ditched that thing. I got $200 for it on Craigslist. But we don't, you know, it's the crazy stuff, and that's where I wanted to push it. Like, we tried stuff. No one was putting espresso machines in bathrooms. We weren't doing stuff like that, but I'm like, this makes sense to me. I want coffee before I want oxygen in the morning. Why would I want to smell that? Why would I want that to be? I'm not putting it above the toilet. There's not floating particles. We're separating. But you know, there's that kind of thing where I want, like, it's a Saturday morning, I have anywhere I need to be, and I want to roll out of bed slowly and make an espresso, turn on some music. Music is my fourth amenity in the bathroom. It's sink, toilet, shower, music. Tub if you want to. That's it. And that's, I think if we can, I'm trying to educate and show people that there's no reason not to have this stuff. And what it does to your life. This is the room that you start and finish your day in, every day. And it's kind of your bracket room. And if those two moments are better, some of the stuff in the middle sometimes gets better. If you've got a ring light that you see yourself in, and that's your reflection before you leave the house every day versus that recessed can that's above your head with the raccoon eyes, that's your last impression of you before you start the day. And if that doesn't suck, your day might not suck. It's little stuff like that, and it changes things. If I hear stuff from homeowners, sometimes it's just like, this changes my life. A TV and a mirror seems stupid, but when your kids are running around the house and you can't take a shower, and you can plant them on the floor in the middle of the bathroom and watch them while you're getting ready for the day, and they're entertained by this, that solves something. It's not just a silly thing anymore. There's solutions in this kind of stuff. And their day gets better. They don't have to rush to the bathroom and worry about their kids starting the house on fire. They can plant them down and be parents again. And that's where life gets changed. And that's the stuff I hear about, honestly. If you can Google it, if a blogger wants to tear into me, they can have at it. They've got plenty of opportunity. So I think that the key to it all is, and you guys know this too, if you're a good designer, you'll listen. And that's the tricky part with this show. When we leave them that day, we find them at the house, I leave them that day, we can't talk anymore until I unroll that plan. That's the first time they see it. But there's no way I'm leaving that house without being sure I get them. They're not gonna be able to pick out every piece, but I need to get you enough or I'm not guessing on everything. And that's the high for me. Like when that pays off, that pays off. I'm sure you guys feel that too. That was the high I got as a designer all the time. Only I get it like 6 times a year instead of 50, like I do now. So I get it, I'm selfishly enjoying that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I would feel like that. My goodness. No, I think that's what we talk about a lot in terms of the bathroom, in terms of the kitchen, and so many people are constantly coming in. I shouldn't say constantly, but a lot of times people are coming in and looking for the price. What's the price of this? What's it? And we're constantly talking about like this is the thing you touch and you interact with more than anything else in your house. Like you got to think about it a little bit differently than that. And when you start talking about that, when you're having conversations with people, and that's what good interior designers do, it's what good remodelers do, it's what good showroom staff does, is you're having conversations with people. And if you have good conversations and you listen to them and give them those ideas, they're happy, you're happy, and you get that high that you're talking about however many times a year.
Ask good questions.
Yeah.
If you start with what's your favorite color, don't. And start with what's your ideal routine. What's your routine now? What should it be? How can we get from A to B? And you can solve that stuff with design. That's where that goes. Color, materials, that's easy. You guys can do that. It's the design. It's the initial, what do we change in your life? That's the big deal.
Okay. Who has some more questions for Matt? Really? Did he answer every one of John's questions?
Yeah.
Arizona is very much a retirement community. People come here from all over the country, from all over the world, often starting with second homes, and then also will make Arizona their home as a retirement home. And so as for older adults, as we age, and as the baby boomers are aging, and staying at home, aging in place, being a premium, and having that option and that choice. How does the design and the factor in to the needs of a growing, aging population, particularly in Arizona?
I think that it shouldn't geographically matter. Here's what I think on that. I think we're way behind on universal design. And I think it's to the point where it's all retrofit and it's all afterthought. I think the biggest thing that's probably going to be changing design-wise in our lifetimes is going to be the forethought involved with that and the consideration given to it. I think we are way behind. I was just saying to Ben, we're behind on sexy looking grab bars. They don't need to look like that. But they're not there. Good luck finding them. And if you do, good luck paying, good luck affording them. There's
Like we have them, they're just.
yeah, you can't afford them. Why? There's no reason. Like if I'm almost 40. So if I'm gonna renovate my bathroom next, and believe me, I'm due. Even for myself, I'm gonna start thinking about this. Why do I have to be at a certain age to, and to some point, why does a universally designed bathroom need to look institutional or sterile or for the sick or for that institutional feel that's so off-putting and cold? There's zero reason for it. Zero. With a little forethought, a grab bar in a shower doesn't need to be haphazardly bolted through tile. You can do a band of slab through the shower at the appropriate height and center that stuff up, making it look purposeful, making it look integral into the design. I think it's all about thinking about this at the right phase of the project, rather than afterward, when we come in and bolt everything down, and God, I hope we put in blocking. It's silly, because zero clearance showers. Yes, it's hard, and yes, we may have to notch trusses and all this other kind of stuff, but not within new construction. And you guys are doing a fair share of that out here too. This consideration needs to be taken in ahead of time, and I think it's going to happen because we are going to be forced to make it happen. Like you said, when the boomers hit this certain age group, and those needs are not being met, I think that changes the paradigm going forward. And it's little stuff, it's silly stuff. A wall-mounted vanity doesn't need to look like it's in a hospital. An ADA compliant, but there is not the mass, the quantity of design out there that fits that need. It's a huge, huge void. And I think once we can start changing the mindset that an ADA accessible bathroom can also be sexy, then why do it any other way? Why can't that be the new baseline? And quite frankly, it's a little embarrassing that it hasn't happened en masse yet. Should I be jumping on that grenade right now? Absolutely. Will I? I hope to. It's one of those things that you just need to find the momentum to get behind it. Because I think there's A, it's irresponsible not to, and B, I've done a couple of bathrooms on Crashers. One was for a kid with CP who was been in a wheelchair, he's 22 now, and he was great. Interacted with me, he was awesome, and it changed his life. It's just silly things like a bench at the right height, and stuff that just makes their day better. And the other kid was, oh God, and these are the episodes that sit with me. His name was Davis. He got an ear infection when he was 4, and it turned into meningitis. And he's now 19, he's 200 pounds, and he's still 4. So he's still potty trained, and he still turns on the hot water and fights his dad in the tub and has tantrums and all of this stuff. And a simple, thoughtful design changed everything. His dad was climbing into the bathtub with him. It's silly. It's silly not to address it. And the ramifications of not doing it are just irresponsible. So yes, it's on my radar, and yes, I hope to be a part of addressing it. But it starts with you guys too. There's an educational element to this that you don't need to be approaching 60, 70 years old to start thinking about this. It can be a part of new construction. It's a sales pitch to sell that home down the line. It's a sales pitch to you staying in your house down the line. Staying in your house and the dignity that gives you is immeasurable. I see that with an organization I work with called Rebuilding Together, and we do that throughout in Minneapolis a lot. And it's little things. It's grab bars where you need them and stuff like that. But if we're taking care of that ahead of time, home stays home, and people stay out of your way, and home can always stay home. And I think that if we're thinking that way, we fix the problem.